David Richardson had built towers across America, proud, shining symbols of modern strength. He believed he knew how to command wind, concrete, and steel. But on the far shore of Batangas, Philippines, destiny was waiting, in the hands of a man with nothing more than bamboo and faith. Pause. Sound of waves and hammering. When David arrived on the coast, he felt unstoppable. This resort would be his masterpiece. Sleek villas, glass walls, hurricane-resistant design. American engineering, he told his workers, never fails. Yet only a few steps away, an old Filipino carpenter named Mang Tono worked quietly under the sun, tying long bamboo poles with rope, humming an old tune. David watched, amused. "You're building with bamboo?" he asked, laughing. In a typhoon zone, Mang Tono smiled without offense. "Yes, sir. Here we build like this. Bamboo bends with the wind, so it doesn't break." David shook his head. "Maybe for small huts, but real buildings need steel and concrete." The old man only nodded, returning to his patient rhythm, binding, measuring, listening to the sea breeze. For weeks they built side by side. David's team roared with drills and mixers, pouring foundations deep into the earth. Mang Tono worked with quiet precision, guided not by blueprints, but by memory, by stories passed from father to son. The workers teased the carpenter. "Grandpa's house won't survive one strong gust," they said. Even investors mocked the sight of bamboo beside luxury villas. But David only smiled. "Let the storm come," he said. "Then we'll see which one stands." Gentle wind rises. He didn't know it yet, but the storm he invited would soon destroy everything he thought he knew about strength and about respect. Music swells softly, fade out. 2 months had passed since construction began. David's resort was finally complete. 5 shining villas of glass, steel, and pride, standing proudly against the sea breeze. At the same time, Mang Tono and his son finished their simple bamboo home. No modern paint, no heavy machinery, just craftsmanship older than memory itself, built with patience, rhythm, and respect for the wind. Pause. Faint sound of wind picking up. Then one morning the radio cracked with warnings. A tropical storm had formed over the Pacific, powerful, fast, and headed straight toward Batangas. The locals began tying roofs, moving animals, and securing their homes. But David wasn't worried. "This resort is built for anything," he said confidently. "Category 5? We're ready." Mang Tono said little. He simply helped his neighbors move inland, then returned to his bamboo house. With calm hands, he tied extra rope around each joint, checked the foundation, and whispered, "The wind will come. Let it dance through, not fight." Music grows heavier. By nightfall, the storm was upon them. The air howled. The waves roared. Rain slammed against everything in its path like hammers on glass. Trees bent until they nearly touched the ground. Electric poles cracked and fell. The sky flashed white again and again. David watched from a nearby shelter in disbelief. He could see in the distance his villas, the pride of his career, shuddering under the wind's fury. Hours passed, then silence. When morning came, the world was unrecognizable. The beach was littered with debris. Steel beams twisted like ribbon. Concrete walls lay shattered. His million-dollar resort, gone. And there, just 50 meters away, standing calm and perfect under the morning sun, was the bamboo house. No broken poles, no cracked walls, not a single window out of place. Pause, soft wind, gentle music. David stood frozen. He whispered to himself, How is this possible?" And in that quiet question, the storm had done its work. It had broken not just buildings, but pride. Music fades slowly, leaving only the sound of the sea. When the storm clouds cleared, David stood in silence. All that remained of his grand resort were fragments. Glass, steel, and dust scattered across the sand. He could hardly breathe. Years of planning, millions of dollars, every lesson he'd learned in America, gone overnight. But 50 meters away, untouched and almost glowing in the sunrise, stood Mang Tono's bamboo house. Pause, faint wind sound. David walked slowly across the ruins, his shoes sinking in wet sand. Tono was already outside, inspecting his home with calm eyes, like a man greeting an old friend. David stopped a few feet away. His voice was soft, shaky. How did it survive? Tono looked at him kindly and said, "Come, sir, I'll show you." Soft footsteps. He guided David around the house. "See these poles?" he said, touching one gently. "They move. They are not fixed in steel or concrete. When the wind pushes, they bend. When it stops, they return." He pressed his hand against the wall. It flexed slightly, then straightened again. "Your buildings fought the wind. Mine danced with it." Short, reflective pause. David knelt down, touching the foundation. The posts went deep into the ground, yet not rigidly. They swayed like roots of a tree. "I did not fight the earth," Tono continued softly. "I worked with it. When water came, it flowed around. When the wind came, it passed through. Bamboo does not resist nature. It respects it." David looked at the wreckage of his resort and felt a lump rise in his throat. Everything he once believed, the codes, the formulas, the pride, all seemed so small now. "You Americans," Tono said gently, "you try to conquer nature, but nature always wins. The wise man learns to listen, not to fight." Music swells, gentle, emotional. David lowered his head, whispering, "I was wrong." Tono placed a weathered hand on his shoulder. "You were not wrong to build," he said. "Only wrong to forget that the wind also builds, in its own way." Soft music fade out, wind and waves remain. Construction in San Narciso was a study in contrasts. On one side, David's villas rose quickly, loud, rigid, and imposing. He demanded precision, dismissing local wisdom as superstition. Across the road, Tono's team worked quietly, shaping bamboo with care and intuition. The Bahay Kubo grew slowly, blending into the landscape. David's villas symbolized dominance, Tono's house, harmony. Villagers watched, sensing a collision of worlds. Two visions, side by side, one rigid, one resilient. The coming storm would decide which would endure. Then came the warning. Super Typhoon Amihan, a Category 5 monster, was heading straight for San Narciso. Panic spread. Evacuations began. David assured everyone his villas would withstand the storm. "This is the ultimate test," he declared. He locked down the site, confident his engineering would triumph. Tono prepared differently. He checked the rattan ties, loosened window coverings, and let the house breathe. "The bamboo knows the wind," he told worried neighbors. "We will bend." While others fled, Tono and his family sheltered in a storm cellar, trusting the Bahay Kubo to survive. Two approaches, one braced for battle, the other for a dance. The typhoon arrived, ready to judge both. The world held its breath. Would technology or tradition prevail? The answer was moments away. The typhoon struck with unimaginable force. Winds screamed, rain battered, and the sea swallowed the land. David watched from safety inland, anxiety replacing confidence as news feeds went dark. In San Narciso, the storm tore at everything. Trees snapped, buildings shattered. David's villas, built to resist, took the full brunt. Pressure built until glass exploded, roofs ripped away, and concrete walls buckled. The Pacifica crumbled, erased in hours. Nature was not conquered, it was indifferent. Tono's Bahay Kubo, designed to yield, faced the same fury. The storm's verdict was swift and final. When the winds died, only one structure would remain. The lesson was about to be revealed. Dawn revealed devastation. San Narciso was a wasteland. David returned to find his resort gone, reduced to rubble and twisted steel. Everything he'd built, everything he believed in, lay in ruins. But across the road, Tono's Bahay Kubo stood untouched. The bamboo walls and nipa roof were intact, the stilts held firm. Tono and his family swept their yard, calm and safe. David stared in disbelief, awe, and humility. The impossible had happened. The world's cameras captured the miracle. Modern engineering failed, ancient wisdom endured. David's world was turned upside down. The shock was profound. It was the beginning of a transformation. The story was no longer about a storm. but about what it means to truly build for the future. The lesson was undeniable. David, shaken by the storm's fury, turned to Mangtono with wide eyes and a trembling voice. How? How did your house survive when so many others fell? Mangtono smiled gently, inviting David to sit beside him. He poured 2 cups of steaming coffee, the aroma mingling with the scent of rain, and offered not just warmth, but wisdom passed down through generations. The wind is a river, Mangtono began, his hands moving like flowing water. You built a dam to stop it, but a dam must break when the river is strong. He gestured to the woven bamboo walls around them. This is a net, he said softly. The wind passes through, gets tired, and leaves us in peace. To demonstrate, Mangtono pressed against a bamboo post. The house swayed gently, creaking but never cracking, then settled back into place as if it were breathing with the storm. Your house was stiff and unyielding, he explained. Mine bends and bows. It shows respect to the wind, and the wind respects it in return. Rattan ties flexed with each gust. The lightweight nipa roof released pressure, and the house's stilts allowed the wind to pass harmlessly underneath, lifting the structure instead of tearing it apart. Every detail, from the way the bamboo was split to the knots in the rattan, was intentional, crafted from centuries of careful observation and adaptation to the land and its storms. This is not primitive, Mangtono said, his voice steady and proud. It's wisdom. Wisdom that listens to nature, not fights it. David listened, captivated, realizing the depth of what he was hearing. In that moment, David understood he'd never truly grasped the power of nature, nor the humility required to live alongside it. The Bahay Kubo was more than just a house. It was a living lesson in humility, resilience, and the art of adaptation. The true secret was not in resisting the wind, but in learning from it, letting it pass, and growing stronger with every storm. David's real education had just begun, inspired by the quiet strength of Mangtono and his home. And as Mangtono's story spread, the world was listening, eager to learn from the wisdom of the Bahay Kubo. David sat in silence, the weight of the storm pressing down on him. His arrogance, once so certain, had been washed away by the relentless wind and rain. The world he thought he controlled was now unrecognizable, and he felt smaller than ever before. He gazed at his ruined resort, the shattered walls and broken dreams standing as a monument to his own hubris. Every piece of debris was a reminder of mistakes made and lessons yet to be learned. Mangtono, the wise elder he had once dismissed, now appeared to David as a true master, someone who understood the land and its rhythms in a way David never had. I was a fool, David admitted, his voice trembling with humility. I want to learn from you. Will you teach me how to build with respect for this place? Mangtono smiled, his eyes kind. The bamboo is always ready for a new student, he replied, welcoming David into a tradition that had weathered countless storms. Two men, once divided by culture, pride, and misunderstanding, were now united by mutual respect and the shared experience of loss and hope. David's loss, though painful, became his greatest lesson. In the ruins, he found the seeds of wisdom and the courage to begin again. The first step, he realized, was learning to listen, not just to people, but to the land, the wind, and the stories that had shaped this place for generations. The future of building, David understood now, wasn't about conquering nature with concrete and steel, but about dancing with it, embracing its strength and flexibility, just like the bamboo. The world would remember the day a humble bamboo house, standing tall after the storm, taught a master architect the true meaning of resilience and how to build for tomorrow. And so, as the sun rose over the village, a new chapter began for both men. A chapter built on understanding, respect, and hope for the future. The lesson of the wind, whispered through the rustling bamboo, would shape not just their future, but the future of the entire community. The story had come full circle, and together, they stepped forward into a world forever changed by the wisdom of the past.